Hello, how are you? Welcome to your class. Today we are going to learn fraction of a number with its word problems. Okay, so let's learn that what is fraction of a number. For example, if I need to do 1/5 of 75, how can we solve it? It means we need to find 1/5 of 75, right? 1/5 of 75 means I can simplify my top numbers, that is 1 and 75, with my bottom numbers, that is 5. That means if any number can be divided by 5, we can do that. Because you know that 5 can be simplified by 5 because it has 5 at end. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5 and 5 times 5 is 25. You know how we can divide directly? Yes, we have done a lot of times, but still I am telling you that how I did it. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 and 5 times 5 is 25. So it's better that if you do directly. So now we are left with 15 times 1. Your answer will be equal to 15, right? Okay, let's take some more example. For example, I need to do 2/5 of 100. How to do that? Again, I'll need to look at my bottom number, which is 5. Can it divide any top number? Yes, it can divide 100. Okay, so I can simplify these numbers. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10 and 0 will be written as it is. So we are left with 2 times 20 now. Okay, there is 1 in the denominator, so if you write it or not, the same thing. 2 by 1 means 2, so 2 times 20 is 40. So this is your answer. Look at this question now. Let's start with our word problems. Mrs. Johnson set 5 students. How many students are there? 5. Okay, the test has 20 questions. Total questions are 20. To pass, you need 3/4 of the questions. 3/4 of what? Of questions. And how many questions are there? 20. Okay, so I have just written whatever they have told me. They said that 20 questions are there. I have written here 20, and they said 3/4 of the questions, so I have written here 3/4 of questions. That means 3 by 4 times 20, right? Now what we need to find, work out which students pass the test. For that we need to find what is 3/4 of 20. Okay, so again we need to find that any top number can be simplified with bottom number. So yes, 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, now we are left with 5 times 3, that is 15. It means to pass you need 15 questions correct, right? So who have answered 15 questions at least correct? Barry and Donna and Emma. Okay, so these 3 students, Barry, Donna and Emma, have passed the test, and Alan and Carol couldn't pass the test, right? Okay, now we have Annie has 300 sweets. How many sweets she has? 300, right? Okay, she gives half of the sweets to Kate. Now half, that is 1 to 2 of sweets, means what we can do. Now you already know that half of any number is very easy. You can simply divide it by 2, right? So it will be equals to 150. And in this way, the same thing, 1 by 2 of 300 means you need to again divide these numbers, that is 150. So 150 sweets she has given to Kate. Now Kate has 150 sweets, right? Okay, now Annie then gives 1/3 of the remaining sweets. So look at the word remaining sweets. It means that is how many sweets are left with Annie. Annie now have 300 she had before, and now after giving to Kate she is left with 150 sweets, right? Now these will be remaining sweets. Okay, so now she has given 1/3, the same thing written in your question I'm writing over here. I'm not doing anything special. So 1/3 of the remaining sweets, they are 150. Okay, now 1/3 of means multiply, and look at what we need to do. We need to divide these numbers the same way you do always. That is 3 times 5 is 15, and 0 is written at the end. So it means 50 sweets she has given to William. Okay, it means Kate has 150 and William have now 50. To work out how many sweets Annie have left, we need to know that actually she had 300 sweets, right? Then she gave 150 to Kate. 150 sweets were remaining, right? 150 sweets were remaining, from which she has given 50 to William. So when you will take away 50 from 150, when you will take away 50 from 150, what you will be left with? 100 sweets. So it means Annie is left with 100 sweets. Okay. Look at this question now. Umar has $800. How many? $800. He spends 1/4 of this money. So the same thing written in question we have to write here in the form of numbers. He spends 1/4 of this money, right? So 1/4 of this money means this thing we have to write. 1/4 of this money means 800. So we can find it first. 1/4 of 800 means you need to divide 800 by 4. 4 times 2 is 8 and 200 is 1/4 of 800. So where he spent it? On books, right? Okay, so 2/5 of his money, 2/5 of 800, that means 2/5 of 800, like this. So now we can divide 800 by 5 because it can be simplified. 5 times 1 is 5 and then 30 here. 5 times 6 is 30 and 0 at the end. So now we are left with 2 times 160. 0 will be written as it is and 2 times 16 is 32. Okay, it means how much money he spent on presents? 320. And we can write over here presents. All right, so this is money for books and this one is for presents. What fraction of the 800 has he left? For that we can find that how much money is left with him. 800 take away 200 and 320. So 800 take away 200 is 600 and then taking away 320 will give you 280, right? It means he is left with 280 pounds. Okay, we need to find fraction of 800. That means 280 out of 800, right? We can simplify it. Zeros can be cancelled out with each other and now we can divide it by 4. 4 times 2 is 8 and 4 times 7 is 28 and we are left with 7 to 20. Okay, so this is your fraction of the money he is left with, right? Okay, some more word problems. In January, a baby elephant weighs 160 kg. How much? 160 kg. By March, the weight of the baby elephant had increased, right? Increased by 2 to 8. Okay, so it means 2 by 8 of the weight he was having. This was the weight he was actually having, right? And now it has been increased by 2 to 8 of 160, right? 2 to 8 of 160 means like this. Okay, and we can divide these numbers with each other. We can divide both top numbers with the bottom number. Here I can do like this. 2 times 4 is 8. Then I'm left with 1 by 4 times 160. Now we can divide these two numbers. 4 times 4 is 16 and we are left with 40 kg. It means how much weight has been increased? 40 kg has been increased. Work out the weight of the baby elephant in March. It means what we need to do. His weight was 160 in January, right? Now he got an increase of 40 kg. It means you need to add it into 160 and your answer will be equals to 200 kg. Okay. Now look at this question. It's a bit tricky question. The size of a packet of pasta is increased by 1/4. 1/4 means 1/4. Now if you will read this question, you will come to know that we are given only fractions. We are not given any number. Okay. The new size is later reduced. The new size is later reduced by 1/4. So this is the second part. Is the new packet smaller, the same size, or larger than the original? So in this question, what thing you are actually given? The fraction only. Okay, we are given 1/4 of pasta packet is increased. So 1/4 of what we can do? 1/4 of 100 we can do. Why? Because whenever we talk about fraction, it means if I say I got 3/4 of the numbers, it means I got 3/4 of 100. In terms of percentage or in terms of any number we don't know, we are going to assume it equals to 100, right? So whenever you are not given any number and you have fraction of any number, it means you have to assume it equal to 100, right? So 1/4 of 100 will be equal to 100 divided by 4, that is 25. Okay, so now it means this was the increase in packet of pasta. Now packet of pasta we have equal to 100. Okay, because we don't know anything else in question, so we have assumed it equals to 100. So what we need to do, increase means you have to add it in original number. Original is 100 and addition is 25. Increase or addition, same thing, so it will be equal to 125. Okay, now we have done one part of the question, right? What was that? That size of packet was originally 100. Okay, originally it was 100 and now it is 125. Okay, now what they are saying in the second part, the new size is later reduced. First it was increased and now it has been decreased. So from where which you will decrease? From the new size. Okay, the original was 100. After increasing it became 125. Now it is going to reduce again. How much? By 1/4. That means again we have to find 1/4 of 125 now. That means we need to divide 125 by 4. Okay, you can divide it by using your bust off method. 4 times 3 is 12 and we are left with 5. So 4 times 1 is 4. You're left with 1. Put a decimal over here to get a 0. 4 times 2 is 8 and 2 is your remainder, giving you 0 for a decimal, and 4 times 5 is 20, right? So it means that 31.25 is a reduction. Okay, how much has been reduced? 31.25. What we have to do in original number, that is actually 125, you need to take away 31.25. Okay, how can we do this? 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 will be left over here. 9 minus 2 is 7 and here we are left with 4. 4 times minus 1 is 3 and we have 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. So 93.75 is the amount of reduced pasta. Okay, now what we need to find is the new packet smaller, the same size, or larger. If you look at here, this is new packet which is having 93.75. So this is smaller from both of your numbers, 100 and 125. So your answer will be equal to smaller. Okay. Okay guys, so this is your last word problem and then you are off to go. When a bouncy ball is dropped, it will rise to 4/5 of the height. Okay, so everybody knows that what do we mean by bouncy ball. Bouncy ball means which bounces continuously. Okay, for example, from this height they have told us a ball is dropped from a height of 5 meter. This height is 5 meter. Okay, and the ball is thrown here from 5 meter. Now when it will be on this place, wherever it is thrown, it will bounce repeatedly. Okay, first it will be bouncing from this height, then it will be bouncing from this height, then from this height, then from this, and finally it will stop bouncing. Okay, so you have experienced this thing many times. So let's do it in question now. Now read the question carefully. A ball is dropped from a height of 5 meters. Okay, so it means we are given height equals to 5 meter from a ball is dropped and is allowed to bounce repeatedly. Okay, it is bouncing repeatedly. First the height will be high, then here, then here, then here. Okay, so which is the least number of bounces until its rebound height is less than 2 meters? So we need to find what they're asking, that you need to find the bounces repeatedly. Okay, because the bounce repeats continuously and the height starts decreasing one by one. Okay, we need to find the heights until we get a number which is less than 2. How we can do this? I tell you. 4 by 5 times 5 means this 5 will be cancelled out. So the first bouncing is from 4 meter. For finding the second rise, what we have to do? 4 by 5 of 4 meter. Okay, and now what will be your answer? 4 times 4 is 16 divided by 5, and that is equals to 5 times 3 is 15. 1 is left, so we have to put a decimal. It will become 10. So 5 times 2 is 10. So 3.2 meter is the second height. First was 4 meter, then 3.2. To find the next rise, what we need to do now? 4/5 of 3.2. Okay, now the bouncing is going to start from this height. So it means what we need to do? We need to multiply 4 times 32. That's gonna give you 4 times 2 is 8 and 4 times 3 is 12, where your decimal will stay over here. And now you need to divide 128 by 5, right? You can do it directly or you can use your bus stop method. So 5 times 2 is 10 and 5 times 5 is 25. It will give you 3 as remainder. So you will put a decimal over here, and 5 times 6 is 30. And there was a decimal in your numerator. So now your decimal need to move back here. So because we are dividing these numbers, that's why. So your answer will be equals to 2.56. Okay. So now what we need to do? Still we have a number greater than 2. We need to find it until we get a number which is less than 2. It means now the next rise will be equal to 4/5 of 2.56. Okay, now the next height is 2.56. For that, look at this, cannot be divided by this number or this number. So it means we need to simplify as it is. That means 4 times 2.56 and 4 times 256 is equals to 1024. The decimal will be placed from right to left here. Okay, so 10.24 is your answer. Now what we need to do? We need to divide it by 5. You can use your bus stop method. 5 times 2 is 10, right? And this 2 will come down. But remember, in your division, when you are taking two numbers together down, you need to give a 0 in the top. Remember? Yes, well done. So 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, now remainder is 4. We need to put a decimal, and now 5 times 8 is 40. Now 204.8 is not your final answer. We need to put this decimal in our answer. That means we have to move this decimal backwards 2 times, right? It will become then 2.048. Look at here, still we have not found a number which is less than 2. It means again we need to find the next rise, that will be equals to 4/5 of 2.048. Now when you will solve it, you will get your answer 1.6384. Okay, you can do it yourself. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed your lesson. So see you in the next class. Take care.